Hi everybody, welcome back to episode 6 of BJJ Technique for Kids. Last week, we covered sweeps and submissions from the full guard. This week, we're going to learn different options that we have when we're sprawled on our opponent who is in turtle position. Today, we're focusing on the transitions from sprawl to side control. Thank you to my mother again for working with us this week. Now let's warm up. For our first warm up today, we're going to be moving in our stance and doing down blocks. So we're going to start in our stance, one leg forward, one leg back, with our toes pointing forward. We're going to make sure that our knees are bent and that our back isn't curved. We want it to be straight and our chest open. And so every few seconds, I'm going to call out a down block. And a down block is where your front hand touches where your front foot was, and your front foot kicks back like a donkey kick. So it'll look like this. So every few seconds, I'm going to call out down block. We're going to be doing this for 30 seconds. Okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Moving in your stance, however you want. You can switch stances throughout the whole thing. Just keep moving. Down block. Keep changing your levels. Down block. Keep moving, don't stop. Down block. Moving around like we're in a match. Down block. Down block. Down block. Keep going. Down block. Almost there. There you go. Alright. Good job. Now on to the next warm-up. For our next warm-up, we're going to be doing seat belts. So we're going to start sitting on our butt with our feet together and off the ground. You can cross your feet if you like, but I prefer not to. So you're going to keep your hands together, and you're going to touch the ground on one side, and then the other, twisting your torso. We touch on the left and then the right, and that counts as 1. You got to keep your feet off the ground the whole time, and we're going to do this 30 times. Ready? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. Good job. Now go ahead and get some water, and then we'll move on to the technique. For our first technique today, we're going to be working from a sprawled position when our opponent is turtled up and working to side control. So we're pretending that our opponent has just shot a double leg on us and we have just sprawled on top of them. And they end up in this turtle position. When we're sprawling on our opponent, we need to make sure that our hips are low and heavy. That way their head isn't up. And we also need to make sure it's in the center. So if their head is too far out to the side, they can work on sit-outs and try and get us off the top. So we need to make sure that we use our elbows, keep them tight, and keep their head in the center. Now what I want to do is I'm going to circle to the side. So when circling, we need to make sure that we bring our hand to the opposite armpit and block this arm. That way, when we circle, they can't block us from turning. So if we bring the arm through, they can't block. So I'm going to do it on this side. We bring the arm through to the armpit, keeping our chest heavy the entire time and circling on our tiptoes. If we go around on our knees, we take off our weight. So we bring the arm through, trap the armpit, and circle on our tiptoes. From here, we're bringing our right knee in between this gap between their elbow and their knee, right in the center here, and this foot is coming up. We're getting our seatbelt position really tight. Now from here, we have 2 options. We can go and try and sit them to their back, or we can try and submit. Today we're going to focus on taking them to their back. So we're going to bring our weight back a little bit and switch our hands to the ankle and the knee. This foot is going to come back as we're getting ready to drive forward, and we're going to pull this as tight as we can as we drive with our shoulder and go to side control. Now, it's important to make sure that we're grabbing the foot here because this Pulling this will prevent them from bringing the knee in to go to guard or half guard. So now that this leg is cleared, we're bringing this knee tight to the hip and this knee tight to the head. We want to keep our knees tight in side control. We're going to have our right arm under the head, our left arm under their arm. The hand underneath the head will go on top. We're locking our hands with the gable grip nice and tight and keeping our chest pressure heavy. This is where we want to end up for this position. Let's do it one more time. So we just sprawled. We're keeping our hips heavy and the head in the center. We're bringing this arm to the opposite armpit and trapping as we circle around on our tippy toes, keeping our chest heavy the entire time. We go to our seatbelt, bring this knee in the middle, this foot up. To take them down, we're gonna drop our weight back a little bit as we switch this hand to the ankle and this hand to the knee. This foot gets ready to drive. We're gonna go pulling the foot so they can't go to half guard. We bring our knees tight to the hips and the head and get the underhook on the arm and the head. As our right hand goes on top of the left, nice and tight, heavy with our chest. Now it's your turn. We're going to do 5 times on each side. So you're going to circle to the back and take them down 5 times on each side. Ready? 3, 2, 1. For our second technique today, we're going to work on an Americana after we've established side control. So we're going to start from where we ended with the last technique, with our left knee tight to the hip and our right knee tight to the head. We're getting our underhooks under the head and under the arm with the hand under the head on top. We're making sure that we're keeping tight. Now our partner is not just going to want to stay doing nothing. They're going to want to frame on our head to make space. So we're going to keep our chest heavy as we take this arm off, come inside, and grab the wrist, bringing it to the ground. We want 5 fingers together, all reaching over. We're keeping our right elbow tight to their ear. Now this hand is going to reach underneath their arm and grab the top of our own wrist, also 5-finger grip. We're going to roll their wrist so the thumb is facing the sky. When we're doing the submission, if the thumb is down, their arm has more room to turn. So we turn the thumb up, then we're going to pull it in towards their body. And now we're going to use this arm to pull up as we're dragging their hand along the mat backwards. It's going to look like this, up and backwards. The motion that we want their arm to be making is this elbow's coming up as their hand is dragging across the mat. Okay? Again, we have our underhooks and they're framing on our face. So we bring this hand off, keeping our pressure heavy. Going at the wrist, 5 fingers, grip to the mat. Elbow tight to the ear, and this hand is going to reach underneath and on top of our own wrist. We're turning the thumb up as we pull it in, lift the elbow, and drag the hand back across the mat. Alright, now it's your turn. We're going to do 10 Americanas on each side. Ready? 3, 2, 1. For our last technique today, we're going to work on another submission after we've established side control. But this time we're going to be choking them with our own lapel. So just like with the Americana, we're going to start from side control. Everything's tight and everything is heavy. This time we're going to take this arm across and trap the arm. Now what our opponent is not going to see is we're using this hand to open the lapel. And we're going to grab the bottom. Okay? When we bring it here, we're now going to use this hand to trap as we bring this arm around the head. Now this lapel is across their neck. This is what's going to be choking. Now this arm switches to the opposite hip and we're trapping. The choke is going to be when we turn here. This is pulling across the neck and we drop our head to the mat. The reason why we're trapping the hip is if we don't, and we just start turning this way, they can walk their feet in this direction and keep it loose. So, we're using this hand to trap, and we bring our head down, and it's trapping for us. So we can move the hand as we're turning and turning to finish the choke. One more time. Starting from side control, trap the arm, and we open the lapel at this side. We pass it off, trap it still so that they can't bring the hand inside the lapel. We're bringing it across the neck. Now this hand locks the hip as we turn. Now, some people are super tough and they won't tap even when we drop the head and keep trying to finish. So, I'm going to do a forward roll over this shoulder. Now, it's going to be super tight, so I'm going to let go because I don't want to choke her too bad. But you're going to keep the lapel and finish the choke as you're rolling. Okay? So I'm going to roll over this shoulder, and that will finish the choke. Alright, now it's your turn to do the lapel choke. We're going to do 10 chokes on each side. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Good job, everybody. Today we covered how to go from sprawl position when your opponent is turtled up to side control and how to submit from there. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and you can DM me at Ismael_BJJ_ on Instagram if you have any questions. I'll see you tomorrow. Have fun and stay safe. Os.